we are stepping up the level of our services. Our goal is to treat your loved ones with the respect they deserve. We are taking our services to new heights. We are stepping in a new direction. Step into the new millennium with Golden Gate Funeral, where service begins and never ends. Hello and welcome to Ask the Undertaker, an open, honest look into funeral service brought to you by Golden Gate Funeral Home and Crematory, with facilities in Fort Worth, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and Tallulah, Louisiana. I'm your host, John Beckwith Jr., and I'm joined today by the pastor, A. Louis Eaton, of the Church of Living God, Temple 280.
Blessings on you.
We have our Chief Funeral Director, Mr. Kevin Haynes.
Hello, everyone.
We have our sister and Chief Financial Officer, Miss Carolyn Haynes.
Hello, everybody.
We have the pastor, M.T. Body Jr., of the St. John Baptist Church of Hillsboro, Texas.
Praise the Lord, everyone.
All right, today we come from Matthew, the 5th chapter and the 4th verse. Dr. Eaton, if you read that for us.
The word of God says, "Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted."
All right, today we're going to talk about coping with the death of a loved one during the holidays. Pastor Body, we know that's a very difficult time, is coping with death, period. But then when we add holidays to that, it brings back so many memories that it becomes very difficult to do so. So I believe what we need to do is try to help the public today on how to cope with the death during a holiday. Holidays are special. I have such great fond memories of holidays, Pastor Body, and I don't want death or anything else to separate me from that. You have any fond memories of the holiday?
Yes, I do, Brother John. One was that my father did all the cooking.
Okay.
During the holidays. He started like on a Wednesday evening and cook all night, Wednesday night, early Thursday morning. Then he'd make me get up and ride with him to get the finishing touches for that dinner for the holidays. But the one that really sticks to my mind was in 1990, I had just became a licensed minister in October. And for the Thanksgiving dinner, our first Thanksgiving dinner, he allowed me to be the one to bless the food. And that really meant something to me.
So throughout all the other years, your father blessed the food or
Yes,
some
sir.
other minister?
My father.
And then you were able to step up and be the person he recognized as the preacher.
Yes, sir.
That's all right, Carolyn. So many fond memories of holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You have any fond memories of holidays?
A couple of them, but one that really stands out, John, was in 1977. That previous June, our mother had been shot, and that Thanksgiving, a year later, they came back and they said, well, we're going to do a story. And we had a very good, happy Thanksgiving. You know, we were always blessed and happy that we had things that we could, eat and do and be with the family. But that particular Thanksgiving was 1 year that our mother was still here, and God blessed us to still have us with us.
And of course, I remember that story very well. We share the same mother.
You're right.
So in 77, Channel 8 News, ABC came by and said, we should be the most thankful family in Dallas. Mother being shot, our sister being shot in a store robbery. Mother and Charlotte survived.
Right.
And we were there being thankful for their sickness that they went through, but they survived. And that was a great memory.
It was.
We don't look at that as a bad time. We said we were all together and it was a good time.
Yes.
What about you, Chief?
Well, Christmas was always special to me. My grandmother raised me, and the week leading up to Christmas, I would go to the grocery store with her, and she would buy, just gobs and gobs of groceries. She had a list. She knew everybody's favorite dish, and she tried to fix everybody's favorite dish. We had stuff all over the table, when Christmas came, and it was just a special time because we knew all the people were coming. And, when I was small, they made me, I would sit up and watch her prepare stuff Christmas Eve, and then about 8 o'clock, I'd have to start getting ready and going to bed because Santa Claus was coming or something. So
You remember that?
I remember that.
Because holidays are something we don't forget. It sounded like you was pretty young, but you told a story like you was sitting right back there. What about you, Pastor?
Well, my favorite holiday, I got a chance to sample everything before it was put out to everyone.
Okay.
And
You
that
was
was
in
my
the room
best
with the
job.
cook.
I was there. And I enjoyed that so much, and I learned how to hide stuff so nobody else could get it. I used to tell them this one good enough to go out. so I put this aside. So that was my own special dish.
You was the taster.
I was the taster.
Isn't that something? And Carla, I mean, we have so many memories of holidays. I don't mind sharing this one with you all. When I was a child, my mother worked at the store. We talked to her about her being shot in the store. Robert, before then, the person who owned the store, Mr. Larry, used to go deer hunting. And he would hunt deers, and what he did was play the trick on me. He said, "Hey, John, I killed Santa Claus reindeers." So I said, "Boy, that's impossible. There's no way you could have." He said, "Let me show you." He takes me in the back and showed me the reindeers hanging upside down. And Carolyn, I had a fit. It took months for Mom to convince me that Santa Claus reindeers wasn't dead.
Shame on Mr. Larry.
There's many memories, y'all, about. Boy, Larry was pretty mean.
God
Play
rest
on
his
a young boy.
So many milestones, so many memories about holidays, so many good ones.
Yeah.
And Carolyn, we can't let death take that away from us.
No, we cannot.
Help us with that.
Well, another one too, John, is Christmas. For years, we would always, once we got grown and left home, we would have to come back to the house to have Christmas. And we'd have to come Christmas Eve. And it didn't matter. I was the oldest. I was married. I had children. It did not matter. We still had to come back to Mom's house for Christmas Eve. And then, of course, all the girls and Mom had to go in the kitchen to prepare the meals. But we had to be there. And that was just so memorable, and it was so much fun.
It was fun.
It was.
And this was before Mom passed
Yes.
away. So, Pastor Body, what happens is all these great memories. So when someone passes away, the last thing we want to do is go back there because we're thinking it's not going to be the same as it was before. Does that have to be the case?
No, it doesn't have to be the case, Brother John. Long as you reflect on the good times that you share.
Okay.
That will make the day a great day, a happy day, fun day, and a memorable day. Even when we experienced the first Thanksgiving without our father, which was a couple of months after he passed, we were still able to function as a family. We still came together. We still was at Mom's house, and we had our annual food fight at the end of the day.
Even after having to deal with this holiday without Dad
Yes.
for the first time.
For the
Carol, I can
first time.
remember our first holiday without Mom was also Thanksgiving. And it was so awkward. We were so used to having her there. And we couldn't even get through the family prayer without everybody crying and boo-hooing. But before the day was over, we played our dominoes. We played our cards. The same thing we would do if she was there.
Exactly.
And Chief, it's just a new norm. But we can face these holidays. Help us with this.
We can face those holidays. You know, I lost my grandmother in October of 2002. And so a month later, you know, we had that Thanksgiving holiday coming up, and our family was just kind of in turmoil. I mean, we couldn't decide where we were going to gather together, you know, and even when we decided, the food, the preparation, the dressing wasn't the same because no one made dressing like she did.
Yeah.
And I still haven't found anybody to make that dressing.
So things were different.
Yes, but you know, you can get to back to the norm of celebrating and having a good time during those holidays. You just reflect on the good memories that you had.
Pastor Eaton seemed like sad is sadder. It just appears like lonely is lonelier without them, especially around the holidays. I know just recently we just handled services for another one of your sisters. You have to go through Thanksgiving. You have to go through Christmas with that. Help the public on how to cope and how are you going to cope with these holidays?
Well, the way I'm going to cope, first of all, I'm going to ask the Lord to give me the strength to make it through it.
Okay.
And then on to think of the precious memories. We sing a song that precious memories, how they linger, how they ever floods my soul. So I only carry my mind back to the good days and the good times that we had, and try not to be sad.
Just try not to be.
Try not to be, because one thing I know the Word of God says, absent from the body is present with the Lord. But I understand that, but not having that person there with me, that really hurts.
So, Chief, you think it's okay for him to be sad?
Yes, it is okay for him to be sad.
It's okay to go through the grieving process.
Yes.
If I need to cry, what do I need to do?
He needs to cry.
I need to cry.
100%.
100%. I read the psychologist say if you have 500 tears, don't cry 250 of them.
Exactly.
You need to cry all
All
500.
All five. We need to get it out,
Yes.
Carol,
Right,
because
right.
grieving is within and mourning is
Outward
outward
expressions.
and we need to express whatever we're feeling. Carol, it's okay to cry on Christmas.
Most definitely, John, because we're human. And God has given us emotions. And we need to express the emotion that's going on within us at that particular time. Don't, try to be so strong that your back is so straight that your heart is breaking. Go ahead and cry. Scream out loud. There are times still that I'm in a room and something reminds me of Mom, and I'll talk to her. I'll express it. I'll even cry. And that's okay.
And that's okay
Yes,
to
it
do
is.
that because we understand that is natural
Yes.
and it is normal.
Yes.
Pastor Bada, we can't forget about the kids. We can't forget about the children. I know we're going through, and I know it was our mother, our brother, but this is their uncle, this is their grandmother. And
Right.
a lot of times they're so excited about Christmas. We can't forget they also grieve as well.
Right. We have to be mindful and take under consideration that they had their own relationship with their loved one, just like you did. We were grateful that my nieces and nephews and my children were at a pretty good age to where they understood what a grandfather was. And we was able to still laugh and joke with them. We all cried the first Thanksgiving without him, but after that, the kids were able to get together and they shared their fond memories of their grandfather. And so they gave us all the strength and comfort that we needed as well as the children of my father.
Carolyn, holidays are stressful all by themselves.
I hope I can say
I mean, financially, trying to please everybody.
time.
It's just,
Oh.
holidays are just stressful.
Yes.
And then we add the loss of a loved one to that. But we can make it. Can we make it, Chief?
You can make it.
We can make it.
Yes.
You said you're going to remember the
Good time.
memories and good times of your sisters.
Yes.
And Carol, I know we're going to deal this holiday with Michael. It's been 2 years.
Right.
It's been 13 years for Mom. But we're still going to make it through it.
Yes, we're going to make it through it, John. And the best thing that can help us to cope with these holidays is planning. And don't try to do it all yourself. Put your whole family in it. Invite everybody. Let them know the day you're going to go shopping. Let them know the day that you're going to prepare the meal. And let everybody in on it so you can take some of those pressures you just talked about off of just one person.
So, Pastor Bada, pretending I'm not hurt. Pretending that Christmas is the same without Mom. It's not. I don't have to pretend. But that's not saying I can't enjoy Christmas. That's not saying I can't enjoy Thanksgiving. I don't have to pretend that it hurts. I don't have to, even as a man, I don't have to put on the front that I'm stronger than what I really am.
No, you do not, Brother John. When you're hurting, it's best to let someone know that you're hurting. Because the more you hold it in, they have a saying, pressure will bust a pipe. That's why during holiday time, so many people end up in the hospital because they're holding all of this in, and then their blood pressure goes high, their sugar goes high, and then they find themselves not really being able because they're confined to a hospital bed. You have to let that mourning, that outward pour come out. Don't hold it in, because you're only hurting yourself when you hold it in. And you're keeping others looking at you like, why are you being like this? Because it causes you to have an attitude. You lash out at the wrong people for something they didn't do. When if you just let it out, you can let it out and then you can get to the new norm. We say it's a norm, but it's not the same norm. It's a new norm. Once you release it, don't have to front and pretend in front of people. Let it out. Be a man. Cry about it. As they say, wipe your tears, dry your eyes, and go ahead and enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Now, this is interesting, Carolyn, because we don't understand, because our mother's deceased, that your children's mother is not.
Right.
And if I stay in the bed, if I stay under the covers, if I don't go out, what have I done to my children? What have I done to my family? I've taken their uncle away. I've taken their father away. If I don't get up, I owe it to the rest of my family to get up and be there for them.
Yes, you do, John. You're exactly right, because you're right. You're not, we talked about us being the children of our mother, but you're exactly right, the grandchildren, your children, my children, all of our other nieces and nephews. You're right, you have to get up. And our mother was a very fun person. She had her serious time, but she's a very fun person. And your loved one loves you just that much too. They do not want to see you sad. They want you to move on. They want you to carry on those traditions, sometimes even make new ones, but they don't want you to be sad.
They don't want you to be sad.
No.
Chief, I thought about my mother's mother passed also. She survived that, and she made sure her children still had great Christmas, even though her mother was deceased. Now, how did she do it? Well, I'm going to just follow her lead.
Right.
If she was still able to take care of us and she had lost a mother, I should be able to still be okay and take care of my children when I have lost a mother. Are they prime examples?
They are prime examples, and that's some questions that we should have asked them before they passed away. But, we're human. We don't think about those things, so now we have to deal with it. So now we have to remember how they, what we saw in them and how we saw them progress, and we have to do the same thing. I think about what Pastor Body was talking about, getting that out. I read something a long time ago that said that God shall wipe away all tears. Well, you got to cry those tears so he can get to them.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir.
And the bottom line, Pastor, that it's going to bring back some deep emotions.
Yes.
But we can move forward. Just like our foreparents moved forward, we can as well. We shouldn't ruin Christmas.
No.
We shouldn't ruin holidays for others. That's almost selfish.
Right. It really is selfish when you look at it, because they went through it, but not in the same fashion that we went through it. And when I look at my father and my mother, really everybody's gone. And I'll be sitting around saying, well, why, if I be sad, what that going to do to the rest of my family? And I don't want them sad. I want them to be happy. So I have to get up and sometimes put that macho man look on, although I'm hurting on the inside. But sometimes it's not good to let your family know that you hurt them, because if you let them know, they'll start hurting. And so I'll try to keep them happy.
There's no right or wrong way to do this, Chief. Many of us go through grief and we go through it differently. But what we have to do is get up and go through it.
That's right.
We can't just ignore that Christmas is here. Christmas is coming.
Yes.
Believe it or not, Carolyn, it doesn't matter if you think it is or you think it's not, because someone passed. Christmas is still coming. It's coming every year.
Yes, sir.
And we have to get up and do something about it. You said we have to have a plan, Carolyn. We have to get together. Is it okay to go with old traditions as well as make new ones?
Most definitely. You have to mix it. And then you're also going to let your children and your grandchildren know, and their grandchildren know, what they did and how they did it. Some of my nieces, some of our grandchildren didn't know Mom. So we have to tell her story. We still have to tell them what she did, how she did it, why she did it, and this is the way we're going to do some things. And then there are some things we're going to start new, because at some point, Mom started some things new as well.
And that's what it's all about. Pastor Body, we can't forget that our brother Michael Ford lived.
Right.
And I don't want my children not to know their Uncle Michael. Their Uncle Michael was crazy. I need to share that story. Listen, if your Uncle Michael was here, this is what will be going on. This is what he would have said. And we're not going to cry about it. We're not going to fall out about it. We're going to have good, fun memories, because he did live, and I want him to continue to live through me. Carolyn, if I knew you, you can continue to live, because I'm not going to stop telling your story.
Exactly right, and that's what we need to do for our families. And again, it's okay to be sad. You wake up and you said, okay, Mom's not going to be here, Mike's not going to be here, but today is today, and we're going to celebrate the fact that they did live, and we're going to celebrate with the rest of the family.
Pastor Body, they say to have a plan A and have a plan
B.
A plan B.
Yes, sir.
So I can plan to go to the holiday. I can plan to do all these things. But if that doesn't work out, is it okay to have a plan B?
Most definitely, Brother John. You can always plan your family gathering for the initial family. But when it gets too hard on you to be around the family because they're still laughing and joking and you're not there yet, it's okay for you to just say, well, guys, I'm finna get ready to go back home and I'm finna lay down for a few minutes. And that plan B could be you just have that dinner at home for you and your immediate family, so that you wouldn't disappoint or bring everybody else down. Plan B doesn't always mean that it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing, because you have to do what's best for you. You, like Brother Eton just said, you want to make everybody else feel bad because you're feeling bad. So spending a little time, but when it gets to grief, the grief comes too much for you to handle, it's okay to say, okay, I'm finna go home, and you work your plan B at home.
Carol, it's okay to have a plan B. My plan B may be, well, I'm going to the movies. My plan B may be, well, I'm going to go spend a little time at the cemetery and not always at the house playing cards. But it's okay to have a plan B.
Most definitely, John, because sometimes plan A doesn't work. Some things do fall through. And if you don't have plan B, then the whole thing is just going to fall down. Everybody's going to be sad. Everybody's going to be looking. And then especially the little children, they're not going to know what's going on.
They're not going to understand.
And you cannot be that selfish and unfair to them.
We're not canceling the holidays, are we?
Oh, no, don't cancel it.
Don't cancel holidays.
cancel
Someone passed. We're not canceling Christmas this year.
Right.
We're not canceling Thanksgiving this year.
Right.
Someone passed, but the holiday will go on.
Yes.
Is it okay to have a plan B?
It is okay to have a plan B. I think back to my plan B, once you get that feel, if you start feeling a little uneasy, just change your atmosphere, change your environment. When I was younger and had just got my driver's license, I used to house hop. I'd go to different folks' house, just to see what was going on, just invite it myself.
That was your plan B.
That was my plan B.
A was to spend a little time with the family. Plan B is I'm going house hopping.
house hopping.
So at least I have another plan, and I don't have to stick with one of them.
Right.
There's many different ways we can honor our loved ones during the holiday season.
Yes.
Let's name one or two of them.
Well, one way to honor your loved ones is make a card.
Make a card
Just make a card and have everyone to sign it.
to that loved one. Write
that
something
loved one.
about
You're
that
right.
loved one on the card.
Right.
And that's okay to do that, isn't
It's
it?
okay to do
Chief,
that.
can you think of anything else we can do to honor our loved ones during the holiday season?
Oh, yes, in your prayer to recognize that loved one who, came before you and may have even been the purpose and the cause of the setting that you're in now.
And those who may not know that loved one there would now know that loved one. We can't be in such a hurry of our prayer. We just want to bless the food.
Exactly.
Because we want to get to it. But you said it's okay to place your mother, your brother, your father, whoever in the prayer.
Yes.
It's okay, Carol. Can you think of anything else, Carol, we can do to honor our loved ones during the holidays?
Yeah, John, especially during Christmas, you can do a special ornament. And then maybe you can have the youngest child in the family place it on the tree. And that will start a different tradition in your family. And then they'll always have that special memory.
So we can have a Michael bulb, we can have a mama bulb, we can have a grandmama bulb, but we can have everybody on the tree. So then when people come by to visit, when the small kids never knew them, will say, who is that? And we can get to tell the story about them. Can you think of anything else?
Well, brother, you can light a candle.
Light a candle. So
candle
often
tribute.
you have candlelight visuals. And we can do that everywhere. We can do it as a group. We can do it as an individual. Carol, it's okay to spend a holiday at a cemetery, isn't it?
It is. Now, our mom, she told us not to go. She never went, but I still do. Every holiday, her birthday, Mother's Day, the different holidays, the anniversary of her death, I will go to the cemetery. And even though she told us not to, this is still where we laid her physical body. And personally, I go.
It's okay to say no. Because so often people feel like they have to do something, Chief. Do I have to do anything? Listen, I'm mourning this Christmas. I'm going through something this holiday. If you ask me to do something I don't feel like doing it, is it okay to say no?
It is okay to say no. You have to work these things out in your own time. There's no expiration date, and there's no cutoff that says, okay, you have to start grieving right now, today, at this point. There's
no time.
No, there's no time.
I don't have to start today, and I don't have to stop today.
today.
So if it's been 13 years, if it's been 13 days,
That's right.
there's no time period. Is it okay for me to tell somebody, no, I'm not doing that because I am dealing with this in my own way?
You could tell someone no, because really they don't understand unless you tell them no and why you saying no. It's some things when it comes around New Year's, I don't even like to do because I did that with my father. So when people ask me, are we going to do this, I tell them no.
And that's okay to say no.
And it's okay to say.
So often, Pastor, people want to tell you how to grieve because it worked for them.
Yeah.
We are all individuals. So coping with loss during the holidays, I need to find my individual way of making this happen. The problem comes in when I stop functioning.
That's it.
When I stop functioning, I need some help.
Yes, sir.
Is it okay to ask for some professional help even during holiday season?
Most definitely, especially during that time, because the burden is on you so heavy during the holiday time because you miss that individual even the more. And there's nothing wrong. People used to feel as though it was a bad thing to go see a psychiatrist because they thought you was crazy. But really, you're trying to help yourself get better. You're trying to find an answer to the problem that you've been dealing with.
Right. And so it's okay to get some professional help.
It's okay to get professional help.
Is it okay to get spiritual help, Carol?
Oh, most definitely. And just throughout our culture, John, it's always been spiritual for us. It's always been religious for us. So most definitely, you fall on your knees wherever you are, and you ask God to help you.
It's okay for me to go talk with my pastor if that's what I need to do, Chief?
Oh, yes, most definitely. I mean, I'm best friends with my pastor, and he is just a wealth of knowledge when it comes to, the spiritual realm.
So it's okay to go to a professional psychologist. It's okay to go to God yourself. It's okay to go to your pastor. Now, this is interesting. A lot of times people think they're doing this all themselves. A lot of times they think there's nobody else in the world have lost a mother but me.
Right.
There's many groups out there of people who have lost mothers, who have lost brothers, who have lost children. Is it okay to reach out to those groups and come together as a group, especially during the holiday season?
Yes, it's very important that you can reach out to those groups and they'll be there for you. And because one thing, they have been through it, and all of us accept it a different way. I notice a lot of times, even like Veterans Day, a lot of vets, we get together and we talk about different things that help us through it.
So coming together is a good thing. Because it's good to know you're not going through this alone. And I tell you, coping with death is a difficult thing. But understand that death is going to come.
Yes,
so
sir.
on this show, we have to remind you that everybody needs a pre-need.
Yes.
And everybody needs insurance. And everybody needs
a
will.
Why do we need a pre-need?
You need that pre-need so it will, it just financially, it just makes sense.
Okay.
So that you can freeze those costs, today's costs, and it's already set.
So financially, I'm not in debt. What's another reason, Carol?
Well, emotionally.
Okay.
People have to cope with everyday life, and then they have to cope with the death. Then they have to come in and make decisions during such a hard time.
And with a pre-need, I don't have
All
to
that's
worry about
eliminated.
that. Why should everybody have insurance?
An insurance policy is left for an inheritance.
Okay. So we want to leave a legacy behind. So during holiday season, there is a good
Celebration.
legacy behind. Why should everybody have a will?
Because it keeps down chaos and confusion.
Especially during holiday season.
season.
The last thing we need is
It's just-
chaos
and
and
confusion.
confusion. So
Right.
do a will so your family don't have to go through that during this period of time. And remember to watch Ask the Undertaker every Saturday night right here on channel 47.2 at 7 o'clock p.m. and every Sunday morning at 6 o'clock a.m. on channel 21. And you all know my favorite,
The radio show.
The radio show every Saturday morning from 10 to 11 o'clock a.m. on Heaven 97. That's 970 a.m. on your dial. And you can actually call in and ask any questions you like. May God bless you and may God keep you is our prayer. We are stepping up the level of our services. Our goal is to treat your loved ones with the respect they deserve. We are taking our services to new heights. We are stepping in a new direction. Step into the new millennium with Golden Gate. Where service begins,